Hey everyone, this is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. Today I have a just very short video related to something that I've talked about several times, and it was about using an embroidery hoop as your quilting rack. And this was neat when I started out because I didn't have much room and I didn't want to spend a lot on a rack. And so we improvised. And this rack and another one just like it, because I had two, I have used those for years and years and years, and it's probably just in the last 6 years that I actually purchased that one that's got the floor stand that's round. So here's the one I always talk about. It's got the hoop on the top. The outside piece comes off. You lay your quilt sandwich on the top of that, and then you lay this on there. And I always started in the middle. I would start from the middle of the quilt, and I'd roll the edge up if I needed to and pin it where it was sitting on my lap because it might be too much. But the supports that my husband did were, you can see right there, that cross piece that supported that way. And then to raise it up to be more comfortable for the particular chair I was trying to use, he put those 2x2s or four, it looks like 2x2s on the bottom of each one. But then we also needed one more brace that went across the legs on the bottom from side to side, and we had to brace on both sides. And it may not be pretty, but I'm going to tell you, it really did a good job. And the only thing that I had to do was to make sure that I could get the whole quilt. I would have to add a strip of material to each of the sides on the top. And if the bottom was too small too, and I was going to be too close to the edge, I'd have to put it on the bottom. So I took some of my most unfavorite material, and I'll come over here, and I actually have it in a box so that when I want to use that rack, then I could just go to those and pull them out. And I had them marked whether they were 6 feet rather, or 5.5 feet. And I had gobbles and gobbles of purple. And so that became it. Well, people who don't quilt find it very funny that when they come and look at the quilt and they see that edge hanging down. I had one person didn't even know that wasn't part of the quilt. And then somebody else did. And this is one of the quilts, very first quilts I did in the 70s. And I was like Molly. I said, if I'm going to go to the trouble to make this, I'm going to hand stitch all the pieces together, and then I'm going to hand stitch the quilt. And the front, I have always been really proud of. It's very, very small pieces that were put together. But see, that didn't take a lot of money. And then the funny part, though, is when I look at the back, I just crack up because I used brown thread when I was doing the sashing, so it shows up on the back, and then the gold shows up. But you can see, even when I was starting out and I was doing my left-handed stitching with my left hand, it was not pretty. But the front of it made up for that. And then I'm just amazed at the intricate work that I did on the big border of doing all of those lines. But that's just an example. That whole quilt, and I'm just back up. That was one of those big 7-yard ones that is such a challenge now to do. But this is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. I hope you enjoyed that. Here you can find racks, and you can set up your own rack, and it works really well, and it's easy to move from one window to another. If you have any comments, please make those. Hit subscribe and like. Thank you.